The film Greenland left a lasting impression on audiences when it first premiered, not only because it was a disaster film full of thrilling action, but also because it told a deeply human story about survival, family, and hope in the face of the end of the world. The original movie followed the Garrity family as they struggled to survive the catastrophic comet fragments crashing into Earth. What made it stand out compared to other disaster films was its balance of large-scale destruction with intimate, emotional storytelling. Now the sequel Greenland 2 arrives, expanding on that premise and showing what happens after survival. If the first movie was about endurance during the end, the second is about rebuilding in a new world where humanity is no longer the same. Greenland 2 once again centers around John Garrity, played by Gerard Butler, and his wife Alison Garrity, portrayed by Morna Baccarin. Their journey in the first movie took them across the chaos of a dying world to the safety of underground bunkers in Greenland, where a fraction of the global population survived the comet impact. The sequel picks up after those traumatic events, with the family and other survivors finally emerging from the bunkers to face the world above. What awaits them is not the Earth they once knew, but a scarred, ash-filled landscape struggling to heal, forcing humanity to adapt to an entirely new environment. The story becomes a mixture of survival, leadership, and human resilience as communities attempt to rebuild from the ashes of devastation. The cast remains led by Gerard Butler, who not only reprises his role but also helps steer the emotional weight of the movie with his gritty, grounded performance. Morna Baccarin's Alison once again plays a pivotal part, embodying strength and vulnerability as a mother who wants her child to grow up with hope, even in a world so radically changed. Their son Nathan, portrayed by Roger Dale Floyd, is older in the sequel, giving a fresh perspective of a child who lived through the end of the world and now must learn to exist in a new one. Expanding the ensemble are additional survivors, including scientists, military leaders, and ordinary people from around the globe, who each bring their own experiences and perspectives into the collective struggle to rebuild society. These new characters help highlight the diversity of the human condition, showing how different cultures and backgrounds face the challenge of survival. The plot of Greenland 2 moves away from the immediate disaster of falling comets and toward the slower, more psychological struggle of survival after cataclysm. The Earth's surface has been reshaped into a desolate wasteland with harsh climates, limited resources, and collapsed infrastructure. Food is scarce, radiation hotspots remain from fragments, and new forms of weather threaten to wipe out what little remains of civilization. The Garrity family, alongside a group of fellow survivors, embark on a dangerous journey across destroyed landscapes to find a rumored safe zone where fertile land and clean water might exist. Along the way, they face both the wrath of nature and the darker side of human behavior, as not all survivors are willing to share what little they have left. The film's emotional core lies in the relationship between John, Alison, and Nathan. In the first movie, their bond was tested by separation and fear, but in Greenland 2, the focus shifts toward what kind of life they can build together in a world that feels unrecognizable. Alison wrestles with the trauma of what happened, often questioning whether raising Nathan in such a world is fair. John, on the other hand, clings to the belief that humanity must endure, using his skills and determination to protect his family while also guiding others. Nathan becomes a voice of innocence and resilience, adapting quickly to the harsh realities and giving both his parents a renewed sense of purpose. Their family dynamic mirrors the broader struggle of humanity itself, trying to find hope when everything has been stripped away. The film also dives into themes of leadership, morality, and community. In a lawless world, questions arise about who should lead and how power should be handled. Survivors gather into camps, and tensions flare between those who want to rebuild with compassion and those who seek to dominate through fear and control. John Garrity finds himself reluctantly thrust into a leadership role, as people naturally look to him for guidance after witnessing his resilience during the first disaster. This creates both conflict and responsibility, pushing his character arc further as he learns what it means to be more than just a protector of his family, but also a symbol of hope for others. Visually, Greenland 2 expands the scope of the world building. The landscapes are bleak yet hauntingly beautiful, showing the scale of destruction left by the comet. Entire cities are buried under rubble, coastlines are reshaped by tidal waves, and volcanic ash clouds hang heavy in the atmosphere. Yet glimmers of life remain, green shoots breaking through cracked soil, animals slowly returning, and signs that Earth itself is beginning its long recovery. The film captures the duality of despair and renewal, emphasizing that while humanity faces unimaginable loss, nature has its own path of rebirth. The antagonist in Greenland 2 is less about a single villain and more about the broader challenges of survival, though human conflict plays a crucial role. Rival groups of survivors who refuse to cooperate present danger, often clashing violently with those who try to rebuild peacefully. One particular group, led by a ruthless ex-military commander, serves as the foil to John Garrity's leadership, representing the darker instincts of humanity when resources run dry. These confrontations highlight the question of whether humanity can truly learn from its mistakes, or if it is doomed to repeat cycles of violence and greed, even after surviving near extinction. Packing of the film balances tension-filled encounters with emotional moments of reflection. There are heart-stopping sequences involving collapsed infrastructure, massive storms, and treacherous terrain, but equally important are the quiet scenes of families sharing stories, survivors planting seeds, and communities forming bonds. The filmmakers understand that disaster is not only measured in explosions and destruction, but also in the fragile human emotions that surface when everything else is gone. Greenland 2 captures that essence, creating a story that is both thrilling and deeply moving. The release of Greenland 2 is highly anticipated, with the film slated for a major theatrical debut before becoming available on streaming platforms. The choice to return to theaters reflects the scale and spectacle the filmmakers aim to deliver, as the visuals and sound design thrive best on the big screen. Fans of the first movie have been eager to see what comes next for the Garrity family, and the sequel promises not to disappoint. The release date has been set with the hope of drawing large global audiences, particularly because the themes of survival and unity resonate strongly with people from all walks of life. The trailer for Greenland 2 already gives audiences a glimpse of what to expect. It opens with shots of survivors emerging from the massive bunker doors into blinding daylight for the first time in years. Their expressions capture both awe and dread as they witness the broken world. Quick cuts reveal sweeping shots of desolate cities, cracked earth, and raging storms. Moments of action are interspersed with quieter scenes of family tenderness, underscoring the balance of spectacle and emotion. The trailer teases conflict between survivor factions, intense battles for resources, and glimpses of hope as greenery begins to return. One of the most striking trailer moments is a scene where John Garrity stares at a single tree blooming amidst ruins, symbolizing life's persistence. The trailer ends with the tagline that humanity survived the end, but the real challenge has only just begun. As the film builds toward its conclusion, Greenland 2 delivers not just another survival story, but a meditation on what survival truly means. Is it enough to live day by day, or must humanity strive to rebuild civilization, learn from past mistakes, and embrace a new beginning? The Garrity family's journey embodies these questions, giving audiences not only action-packed entertainment, but also food for thought about resilience, family, and the will to carry on when all else seems lost. Greenland 2 is poised to be more than just a sequel. It is a continuation of a story about hope in the harshest of times, reminding us that even in the darkest aftermath, there can always be light.